Hi everyone, once again, Spotlight comes your way from the Daily Tribune studio here in Makati City. I am Jojo Silvestre. I'm with my co-host, the lifestyle editor of Daily Tribune, Miss Dina Sabalventura. Today, we have a very special guest. I recall when I was young, he was the crush ng bayan. But of course, he's
Still the
he still is the crush ng bayan, but he's also known for many things. He has many advocacies, and he has done so well as a legislator, as a congressman, and as a senator, as a representative, and as a senator. And I think in the early days he was also governor. So he's very well experienced. Today, we are proud to present to you Ferdinand Marcos Jr. or Bongbong. Although I hear that he's also called Bonget by friends.
Bonget by family and friends, yes.
Why? Why Bonget? Well, Bongbong.
My mother invented that name out of nowhere. So she started calling me that, and everybody followed suit. So,
okay.
but I don't know where it came from. It makes. There are other variations on the theme. There's Bonger, there's Bonget.
Really?
Yeah,
okay. Ganun
So
pala.
it evolved finally into Bonget, so everybody calls me that.
Okay.
But unfortunately, with my cousins, especially at that age, Bonget, of course, rhymes with Panget, so it always came together. So they would go, "Oy, Bonget, Panget." It always dikit.
Really? Yeah. But of course, they could say that because you're very handsome.
Nux.
Not that I'm
You can
flirting
joke about
today.
Flirt on. Thank you.
So, how are you as a father and as a husband?
Yes.
Well, I don't know if I'm the person to ask, but I try very hard to. Well, let me start with the kids. I always treated my kids as little adults. I never spoke to them baby, yung gano'n. I really that irritates me. And I thought it's not a good idea to teach children how to be, childish, not childlike, but childish. So I've always spoken to them like normal people. I just think of them as little grown-ups that don't understand everything yet. And that seems to have worked. They've grown up into. I have three boys, and they've all grown up into fairly independent young men. And so I think that's probably the way to do it. But of course, you read all the books on how to raise children and on parenting and everything, and they do help a little bit. But in the end, you're making it up as you go along. So I guess I'm still doing that.
So, which one is the disciplinarian? And the one who spoils, would that be Attorney Marcos or would that be you?
She claims I'm the disciplinarian. I don't think so. I think my children are much more afraid of her than they are of me.
Stricter.
I no. She's the mom. She makes sure everybody's okay, nobody's sick, they're getting fed, that their rooms are clean and their clothes are laundered, etc. They're properly dressed for the occasion. All of those mom things. My eldest is already 25 years old, so 25, 23.
What's his name?
Sandro. His name is Alexander Ferdinand Araneta Marcos, so we call him Sandro. My second is Joseph Simon. We call him Sai. And there's my youngest is Vincent, which we call Vinny for some reason. Anyway, so they're young men already. So parang at this point, ano na lang para kaming magkaibigan, magkabarkada. We argue about music. We argue about movies.
How do you bond as a family?
Well,
They argue.
It's a tough time because my youngest, Vincent, is still in school in Singapore. And the two boys, Sandro and Simon, are very busy. Sandro is working with Congressman Martin Romualdez in the Majority Floor Leader's office, and Simon is revving up to be a trader. So he's busy. So
You mean stock exchange?
yes, all kinds of trading. That's what he found an interest in. So what we find each other on the weekends. Now, even if
You're all busy.
they all live very nearby, but busy din sila eh. At that age, marami silang ginagawa. So
So you
I'm
see
I'm
each
I'm
other.
hoping that we've instilled in them enough in the time that we had when they were living with us, that the basic relationship is solid. I hope so.
Can we go back in time?
Oo.
How was Ferdinand Marcos as a father?
My dad?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he was the wala. He was
Busy.
growing up. Well, first of all, growing up, we really hardly ever saw him. The truth of them, both of them, my parents, they were always
Okay.
so busy. Even when I left, I left for the UK in 1969-70. And then my sisters followed. So mula nun, talagang we didn't really sit around as a family. But we spent as much time as we could with the five of us. And immediately, I remember, my mother would look around, uy, 5 tayo. Patawagan nyo lahat ng photographer, lahat ng video, because it's so rare that we're together that she says, okay, put on your barong, make everybody sit down, we're going to have a formal picture. Because it was so rare. But that was, but nevertheless, we had some very close moments with my family. I guess because we knew that we couldn't make babad, as it were, together. We couldn't chill because my parents were so busy. That what little time we had together, we really took full advantage of, and we'd catch up on each other. My father, as a dad, was one of the most hilarious people. People don't see that side of him. People don't see that side of him. And he was always busy. We'd have to drag him out of the office to go to work. But once he was with us, he would marami siyang kwento. This is what
Really?
happened, this is what we did, this is what we're going. Then he would get ideas. As a matter of fact, you should come with me. We're going to this. So that's what. Pero siyempre nung maliit pa kami, it was a little easier. I remember times when we were still living in San Juan. My dad was although he was very busy, he was always looking for us. Kung saan, kahit na may lakad sa probinsya, sinasama kami lagi. They would bring us everywhere. We used to tease my father about these failed expeditions that he would organize. That, you have to go and see this. Of course, Presidente siya, so there's this whole one battalion of people who have to go up there, all the arrangement. Of course, it never turns out into this roughing it up expedition. So, but nonetheless, we had fun, and we were all very, very close because we were just the five of us talaga in the palace. Everybody else was not family.
Do you recall who your friends were when you were growing up? All the way to your teenage years.
Sure, they're still the same friends that I have now.
Sino sila?
Well, first my classmates.
From Green Hills?
From LaSalle. I am technically class 74 out of LaSalle Green Hills, but I did not attend high school anymore in LaSalle. But they kept me as an honorary member because malapit kami. We're quite close. So so the friends that I made in LaSalle are still the same friends that I have. And many of the friends, I still keep in touch with many of my friends that were with me in school and in university in England. So, yeah, because if you remember, I mean, I was living, even the friends I made out of school, I made many of them outside of the Philippines. So it's slightly different, from making friends when you're here in the Philippines, because you're all you're all together. You all have to you do normal things, like you wash the dishes, you cook, you you clean the house, etc. All of those things that I would never have done, or at least together with other people, had I not traveled abroad, had I not studied abroad.
Iba yung life dito, di ba?
Yeah, well, wala eh. There's no other way.
So you mean you did all those things because you were on your own, no?
Yeah, Yeah, you just have to. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be really. I remember that. Of course, I could call somebody and they can. But you can't even manage to do that. How pathetic are you? You know. So, you just learn how to do things. You become self. You become. That's what I tried to. That's why I sent my sons to the same school that I did. That I went
Oh,
to.
I see.
So that they become in the Worth
Yeah,
School,
yeah.
in Sussex, so that they become independent. And that's one thing that I learned from
Yeah,
that school
yeah.
is to learn how to be. What they really said was they teach you how to be a gentleman.
Mm.
In other words, that you behave properly. You're well bred. You're well educated.
yeah.
You're well bred. You're well trained. You know how to take care of yourself. You don't need to depend on other people, etc., etc., etc.
Hey, there's this controversial thing I recall. They were saying that's not the
Oh
bongbong
yeah.
anymore.
Oh yeah.
How
Yeah.
did you react to?
I was astounded when I first heard it. Because coming from my point of view, and I couldn't understand ba't nila sasabihin yun. You know the story, right? I got into a fight in England. I
Yes.
got nasaksak ako. Basta somehow I was killed. And my parents, instead of burying me in an honorable fashion, found an avatar to take my place. And the what you see now is that
It's not the
it's not the one who was born to my mother, but actually a replacement. First of all, I don't understand what parent would do that. Why would a parent do that? Number two, uh, people. I've been in public life since I was 3 years old. You can
yes,
look at the pictures. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, nothing's changed. Walang improvement. Walang pareho pa rin. My voice, my tone, everything. I mean, but so people are saying, well, if it's not true, may DNA na. Magpa-DNA ka.
Grabe, no?
Di ba? Madaling to disprove or prove, di ba? Ako hindi, sabi ko, I like being part of an urban legend. Let it ride. Okay lang, okay lang.
who were your guardians in England?
What? Who were?
Did you have Filipino guardians also?
No, I was in
Talaga, you
boarding
were in
school.
Oh,
Well, the ambassador was my guardian.
whoever was the ambassador.
Whoever was the ambassador,
Don
just so
Jaime,
that there was a
of
legal guardian. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Jaime Sobel for the most part of the time that we were there. But no, I was in school,
Yeah.
so I was just a student. Okay, din yun. I mean, it was totally immersed. You're totally immersed in the what they call the English public school.
Yeah. Let's shift gears.
Okay.
I'm interested about your romantic life. Only with attorney Marcos, not with anybody else.
Okay.
Although, unless you want to share about
Everyone.
all these women.
Let me be clear. I have no romantic life outside of Lisa.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Well said.
Okay, we believe you.
No. I mean, I found the right girl. I married her, and that's it. I mean,
The end.
How did you meet her?
oh, what an interesting story. We were in New York for my mother's trial.
Okay.
One of our lawyers was Lisa's best friend in Ateneo Law.
Oh.
And Lisa at the time was practicing in New York.
Yeah.
So nung lumipat kami, our lawyer said, "You come and meet my friend. We'll go and have a drink with my friend." So we went, knocked in her apartment, and said, "Hi," and that's how we met. But it was nothing. It wasn't like nothing really happened. I was going back to Hawaii. I was going back to San Francisco. So pasok labas ako sa New York. So we'd see each other, but nothing specific. We started going out siguro after about a year na, matagal na after kasi busy kami dun sa kaso eh. So we were there were so many things that we had to deal with. She was very busy. She was also she would visit us in court. Kasi siyempre abogado siya, she'd go to court.
Yeah.
So habang pag may break siya, she would come and visit. And just make kwento with her friend, with us, kasi kilala ko na siya.
But Attorney Marcos is related to Pedro Cuanco, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Did it
Her
matter?
aunt is married.
Sari,
Yeah,
ano?
Tita Sari. Her Tita Sari
Yeah.
is married to
Did it matter to you, or that was nothing?
Well, you're in New York. You don't really talk about that. But her family was not exactly pro
Ah,
Marcos.
really? Oh.
She tells me stories of her demonstrating in Ayala and all the whole
really?
bit. I think
Oh.
it didn't matter to me or to us.
Yeah.
It
between
seemed
the
to
two of
matter
you.
to her family.
Ah, okay.
There were members of her family who wouldn't speak to me or mention or even say my name. We were all friends now, of course.
Of course,
So we're all friends now. So that but that's it's not something that I'm unaccustomed to.
But there's something else also. I'm just curious. Before 85, you had all these friends, and then they became your, well, maybe I should call them enemies.
Yeah, well, some.
or critics.
Yeah.
How did you react to that? And how did, yeah.
I think my instincts growing up, as my father's son, my mother's son, all of three of us actually, natuto na kami, malayo pa, alam ko na, ay, hindi tunay yan. May kailangan lang yan. It's just cute. Nagpapa-cute lang yan kasi may kailangan yan. We got that. Can I say this?
Instinct?
We
What?
developed a bullshit detector really early on.
Like that.
Really early on in our lives.
Pala, no?
Yeah.
And so, yung mga balimbing,
You know all
medyo
along.
expect,
Smell
not
them a
surprising.
while.
Talagang magbabalimbing yan. Ganyan talaga, mahina yan eh. So those were not surprised. And I'm happy to say that those who I considered my friends, that I had a relationship with, remained my
They stuck
friends.
it out.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So at least you know who your friends are.
Well, if there's one thing that the events of '86 will do, it will really teach you who your friends are. Kasi talagang ipitan na eh. So who will take a risk for you, who will still continue to support you. But you have to also be forgiving because people have families, people have lives.
Yeah,
And it's a bit much sometimes to ask them to sacrifice everything for your own welfare.
If
You're
I
on
may
your own.
ask-
It just means you're on your own.
If I may ask, how are you with the Aquinos?
Well, I don't really know them very well at all.
Okay.
Ang medyo knows that some of the anak ni Ninoy was Aimee. Because when my father was a senator, madalas the senators would be together, they would bring their children. So medyo nakilala niya. Pero kami ni Irene, hindi na. People are always surprised that in the presidency of Noynoy,
Yeah.
I spoke to him maybe twice, 3 times. And that's all I have never
okay.
spoken. I've never been in the same room as Cory Aquino. So I don't know. When we went to visit her in the wake, I met some of the other siblings, but that's it. That's all we never really were in contact with each other. Also because pinaalis kami kaagad eh.
Yeah, that's right, that's
17, well, high school pa lang, umalis na ako. So, no, there wasn't much of a chance anymore for that, for that to develop.
Let's shift gears. I hear that you play the saxophone.
I did.
Not anymore.
Well, I don't practice anymore, so I can
Yeah.
sort of make noise, but it's not very good
Yeah,
anymore.
but they say during those days you played
very
it well.
Yeah, I could play. I wanted to study music. I wanted to study music for a long time, and
Oh,
I studied I learned many instruments.
the flute, no?
It started with the flute.
Yeah.
And
Sabi ko krasko eh. So I
Kaya
know
alam mo lahat.
everything.
I started with the flute. I played in an orchestra, and
Oh.
after that, I learned the saxophone. I learned the
Ayun
clarinet.
pala.
I even learned to play the bassoon. Can you imagine? Anyway, that was a long time ago.
That's why you talk music with your kids now.
I like.
You talk about music with your kids.
We
kasi
argue
really
all
into
the
that.
time. Kasi our music's better than your music. Basta walang katapusan yan. Walang tigil yan. What's this playing? Oh, I don't like that. You put some real music on. Oh, but that's not. Yeah.
So
This is ongoing.
what do you listen to now?
given by myself, I'll listen to jazz. I'll listen to rock. I'll listen to the music that I grew up with.
Okay. Any
So-
favorite musician or group or?
Oh, many. That's like asking a favorite child. That's not fair.
Okay. But they were
There's too
saying you
many,
like
too many.
Spyro Gyra.
Well, Spyro Gyra, that was a long time. Wow.
Yeah.
You remember Spyro Gyra? You're one of the few people who still remember Spyro Gyra.
Someone reminded me of
Because I played a couple of songs that we Average White, Spyro Gyra at the time. That was those are the people playing in during my time in Oxford. So and I was playing then. So that's what we were playing. I
And
was
like-
actually a member of Equity, which is the union of musicians and
Really?
actors,
Oh.
because we played in a pub. And if you get paid, you have to be a member of Equity.
So you were getting paid so much.
You know, it's a technical thing. You know, it's 200 pounds, consumable as drinks for everybody in the man. Lima kami. Wala, hindi tumando. Our friends pa. Wala na. We weren't really paid. We just played.
Our office mate Trina was saying another favorite of yours was David Sanborn. What's his name?
David Sanborn? Maybe
Yeah.
Brubeck.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe David Brubeck.
Oh,
I mean all the classics. I cannot, you know, if you ask who's my favorite, well, depends, no?
Oh.
Who's my favorite musician? That's also hard. I mean, even in the jazz side, in the rock side, sino? Beatles, Stones,
So
Clapton,
Tama.
Winwood. Ang dami masyado. I love them all. I love them all.
You know, we'd love to
We have
know
so
a
many
lot
questions.
more. But maybe we'd like to ask you, as we're winding up, what's your New Year's wish for yourself first?
My New Year's wish is always pretty much the same. Just the same. The New Year's wish / resolution. Be better.
Okay.
Just
that
be
always-
better.
is that always
Open
you?
your mind. Keep your mind more. Make your mind more open. Work even harder. Be more compassionate. Be tougher at the same time. I mean, all of these things. But just be better. Be better at everything that you do. So that will last another 6 weeks? No. Hopefully it lasts longer than that.
What's your message to the Filipino people for 2020?
Always is the same. Be magkaisa tayo. Hindi gaganda ang buhay dito sa Pilipinas, hindi titibay ang ating lipunan kung hindi tayo nagkakaisa. Yan ang pinakaunang pangangailangan para maging matagumpay ang estado.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dina.
I'm sorry.
You talk too much.
I couldn't get the word from Jojo. Anyway, so thank you.
Thank you.
We'd love to ask more questions, but
Well,
we have
Yeah.
to.
Maybe
But
we
we'd
can
like
do
to
it
visit
again.
you one of these
Sure,
days.
sure.